Hey, welcome back. It's been a while, I want to say like a month since my last video. Um, I've been working hard on some projects, and sometimes, if you've been following my videos for a while, then you know that periodically I get to a point where I just feel like I can't do videos anymore because I want to get projects done. Um, and I did. I got my last project done, and a couple more things as well, including stuff for myself, which I don't do that often anymore. But here, take a look.
Receiving you. Give us your message, please.
Okay, so in addition to those projects, by the way, the War Machine figure is mine. I did that just for myself, as well as the Chaos Sorcerer, which I did for myself accidentally. Um, but otherwise, those are client projects. But the other thing that I did recently was I built these paint racks. So something I've been meaning to do for a while, and I had the wood sitting around, so I figured, what the hell. But that's mostly because, one of the reasons I haven't been doing a lot of personal projects is that, with all the client work I've had to do, it was pretty much imperative that I get that stuff done and get it done as quickly as possible because, frankly, that was helping me pay the bills. And up until recently, that was pretty much mandatory. Without the money that I made from doing client work, there was no way that I was going to be able to hold everything together. So what's really nice is that that stage is more or less over. Finally paid off some big bills, took care of a lot of little ones, and now I have a little bit more breathing room, which is very liberating. So that doesn't mean I'm not taking client projects anymore. I absolutely am. In fact, I am working on a set of Celts from Warlord Games for a client right now that are based on these minis that I painted previously. So go take a look at those.
But where they come from puzzles me even more.
So I did those a while back for Warlord Games. I did that in a chariot, and I think that may be it, just those two projects. Right as I was sort of getting started on my whole commission painting adventure. So this client saw them, liked them, and wanted me to essentially duplicate that effort, and that's what I'm working on right now. On top of that, I have a number of other personal projects going on. I've actually done some experimentations with the new Citadel colors. This is one of my Space Hulk minis, personal Space Hulk minis, that I wanted to try out the Games Workshop recommended recipe for Blood Angels, and so this is just has the just the reds in the sort of most literal translation of their recipe, and it's okay. It's good. It's a good tabletop standard. I'm going to, before I call it done, I'm actually going to do some more work to it and pop out some of the highlights a little bit more. I have to say, overall, I liked the colors that they chose for this. It's probably a little brighter than a lot of people like. for Blood Angels. But I think it's pretty cool, and I think once I get the highlights put back in, that was one of the problems, is once you got the glaze on there, any of the brightest highlights kind of died. But anyway, I think it's a perfectly serviceable color recipe. I've also been working on my first Chaos Space Marine army ever. And from the other pictures that you saw, that Chaos Sorcerer is going to go with this army. It's not going to get done anytime soon. Actually, I'm kind of hoping I can get at least the basics done in time for 6th edition when that comes out, so that I have at least a bare minimum of playable minis for that, because I don't have another 40k army at the moment. And wow, so many personal projects. So the Ironclad, the War Machine Ironclad mini that you saw, is part of the Signar starter set for War Machine, and so I have the rest of that set to do, and you never know, I might actually get those done too. It's just so weird, and after a year of doing hardly anything for myself, to all of a sudden be having this sort of plethora of projects. So anyway, back to the paint. So sorry to ramble, but this has just been on my mind. Agrax Earthshade. This was the replacement for Devil and Mud, and I know a lot of people were complaining because they really like Devil and Mud and they use it a lot. And you know what? You probably shouldn't over rely on any one method. And I figure if you're using this or using that on every mini that you do and using it in abundance, you might want to think about Army Painter as a possible alternative. But in terms of overall usefulness, I find Agrax Earthshade to be a lot more flexible than Devil and Mud. For me, Devil and Mud was a little bit too dark to use in a lot of situations, whereas because the Agrax Earthshade is not quite as dark and is a little bit more subtle in its tones, that I'm finding a lot more places where it can be of use. Particularly, I'm really liking it on brass colors. The iron, what the hell is that? The War Machine model that you saw the picture of here. I'll show you again. Okay, so that model, the Ironclad, that's what it was. The Ironclad, the brass on that is simply brass balls, Agrax Earthshade, and that's it. Just those two colors. Now, it's various proportions of it, so a base coat of brass balls, a wash of the Earthshade, a dry brush of brass balls, a little bit more directed washes of the Earthshade, but really just those two colors and you can get a really nice effect. So anyway, I digress. So that's kind of it for now. That's where I am at the moment. I just want to mention again, I am looking for new commissions. Aside from these Celts, I have one other potential project that is not yet set in stone. I'm still waiting on an initial payment on that, and until that happens, that slot is open. So I'm expecting this project will eat up my next 2-3 weeks, and then there's a reasonable chance that I'll be ready to start another project. So if you were thinking, I'd really like to have him work on something for me, but I don't want to wait 6 months for it, now's the time to jump in. So yeah, that's all, and I will talk to you later.